I'm interested to know your perspective on what gratitude is, given that you're a psychologist.
Well, I think that it is a state. Gratitude is a state. If we reduce it down to what we're experiencing, that gratitude is a state where what we're experiencing pleases us. What we're experiencing, we would like
Yeah.
more of. And it's the
Right.
recognition of that.
Mm.
And you might extend that and say thankfulness, appreciation,
Yeah.
right? When I get into thankfulness and appreciation, in my mind, we're coming closer to the surface. But again,
Yeah.
if you appreciate, I mean, isn't that the same as
Yeah.
enjoying?
No, yeah, it makes sense that that would have like a huge relation to happiness. Because if you can just be more, grateful for the really small things, like you're talking about, like the breeze on your face and the sunlight. I mean, if you can be grateful for those things and more, experience more gratitude for those things, man, I think you can be way happier, right? Another question I have for you, now that we've clarified what gratitude actually is, um, why is gratitude important? I think I kind of understand that as well. It makes sense that we need to have gratitude in our life in order to be happy, because if if we aren't just being like I said, grateful for the things that we have, the small things and the large, then how are we going to be happy? There's nothing to be happy about if we aren't grateful for those things.
I think you answer it right there. I think, you know, could a person have everything it takes to be happy and still be unhappy? And if you've ever known someone like this, or heard a story, or saw maybe even a movie or a character in a book or fiction or something like that, you may have noticed that you find yourself going, "How could that person be unhappy?
Yeah.
They have this, they have that, they have everything, and they just don't get it. They don't appreciate it. They just don't." And well, what you're saying is they're not connecting. They're not connecting with that which should make them happy. They're not
Right.
connecting with it. They're not present. They're not experiencing it in that way, or they
Mm,
simply don't hold the same values you do. But I'd
right.
say most people hold very similar values. And what you're actually seeing in that case is that that person is not present. They're not connecting with the thing that would normally make them happy.
Yeah.
So, and I think you said it very clearly that it's sort of a circular reasoning kind of thing, in a way, that that which makes us happy is what makes us happy. So if we're not experiencing it, we're not going to be happy.
Yeah.
But if we are experiencing it, then aren't you happy right in that moment when you're
Right.
experiencing something that makes you happy?
Hmm. Okay, I like that. Well, so how can we practice gratitude? How can we actually integrate this into our life more and be uh, more grateful?
Very simply, is there are things that you can do outside of yourself that your brain will recognize as changed behavior, and it will shift its way of seeing the world based on the behavior that you are engaged in.
Could you give an
So if you
example of
spend
that?
yeah, if you spend time sitting down with a diary and writing out things that you're actually grateful for,
Okay.
if you spend time actually when you wake up in the morning and say, okay, every day I'm going to say three things that I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
If you demonstrate gratitude for the things around you or the people around you, and you actually make these demonstrations.
Uh-huh.
But what I want to point out to you is that none of those would work if you didn't allow a state shift, if you didn't allow yourself to internally in your mind shift into that state of appreciation and gratitude when you do those things.
Right.
So those external things are meant to cause that shift.
So, what exercise are we going to be able to do to practice gratitude? Because I'm really excited for our next episode
Yeah.
on practicing this.
I think one of the easiest ways you can directly practice gratitude is through your five senses. So you may take a favorite piece of candy or some food that you like, You may take a favorite scent. Particular, I love gardenias, for example. Orange blossoms is really my favorite. I love orange blossoms.
Mm.
And through your five senses, just take a moment to actually see how deeply you can experience something that pleases you. I think next week, what we'll do is let's meet out in the forest or out by the trees again. And why don't everyone bring something to write with? So we can write, we'll do both of these exercises. We'll do an external exercise and I'll point to the state shift that's required. And we'll maybe even do it before and after and see which one really feels differently to you. And then we'll do something with our five senses where you can really engage in being fully present and understanding the connection between presence and gratitude or happiness. We'll have a direct experience of that and then we'll integrate it afterwards.